Hello, welcome to the Rope Break podcast with me, Kev, and
I'm Dan. What's up, guys?
yeah. So another week in wrestling. There's lots going on at the moment. We've got WrestleMania. We've had some debuts on AEW as well this week.
Yeah.
So yeah, where do you want to start?
I don't know, mate. Anywhere really. I think.
We'll start on Monday because we've done it. We done a lot. Our podcasts are done on a Friday afternoon. So we'll talk about SmackDown because obviously that was on the Friday night.
Yeah.
Where Cody slapped The Rock.
Yeah.
I think that promo went on a little bit longer than it should have because obviously it just cut. It was obviously supposed to be doing more, but like last week, I think it ran on a bit too long.
Yeah.
And they cut matches last week, but this time they put him on at the end and sort of cut it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've both had a slap now.
Yeah, it's 1-1.
Yeah. I don't know. I still. There's certain little bits they're putting in. I don't know if we're as wrestling fans we're sort of reading into it a bit too much. But there's a time when this promo that they did, The Rock said, "I'm going to make sure you are going to lose," and Paul Heyman actually looks at The Rock like, "What's going on here?" If you notice, they're in the ring, and he puts up the one like this.
Yeah.
And there's a picture of him doing that, and Paul Heyman looking over at him.
Yeah.
To say, what's going on here?
They definitely. The thing, to be honest, I think that's the only thing that has kind of it. I don't know whether it's been done on purpose. If it is being done on purpose, I want to know the thinking behind it. They're making it far too obvious that The Rock's turning on Roman. Like, they're just making it far too obvious to the point where they're now shooting themselves in the foot, because when the inevitable happens at WrestleMania and Rock does turn on Roman, everyone's going to go, well, obviously.
Yeah.
There's going to be no surprise with it at all.
We had that with Bayley, though. You know, we knew for months that something was going on, and like they're going to turn on Bayley. It was just weird when they done it straight after the Chamber, but it was just a bit like straight after the Rumble. Sorry, it was just weird that we all sort of knew, we could see it coming, and then it happened. It was a bit lackluster. It was a bit like we knew it. But you're right. I think we're sort of maybe he doesn't turn on Roman, but I got a feeling that's what's going to happen.
I don't know. I just kind of think I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if it's kind of like the old school way of doing things. We've kind of become a little bit wiser to now, and you can kind of see things coming more now than what you could years ago. I don't know, but I kind of feel the same when Cena comes back. I feel like, I don't know, like, is it Cena now, when he's cutting promos and stuff, as good as he is, it doesn't seem to hit like it used to. And I don't know if that's because it's either one of two things, either because Cena and Rock are off doing other things for so much. When they do come back, they are a bit, they're like out of that routine. They're probably a bit rusty, maybe. I don't know. So there could be that, or it could be that their old school way of doing it, a lot of the modern wrestlers have kind of moved past that now and do it in a different way. So a lot of the old school stuff now comes across a bit corny.
I think that it's probably a mixture of the both.
Yeah.
And I think that, like The Rock cutting the promos, it's great to hear him, but it's stuff that we've seen and it's done before. And like you're saying, I think newer fans that have come into it will love it because they weren't around when that happened and when that sort of stuff was there. But for us that have been watching it for years and grew up with The Rock and Cena and people like that, we've seen it. So it's a bit like, change the record sort of thing.
Yeah, but I don't think I don't know about you, but me personally, I'm never going to get bored of hearing Rock.
No.
Look at someone in the crowd and go, "Shut your mouth, fatty." I don't think I'm ever going to not laugh.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, you're not going to. The Rock, like no one can promo like The Rock. That is,
No.
no one's been able to beat it.
No, and I don't think anyone will be able to beat it. But
No.
do you know, like the promo that he cut on SmackDown, not last week, the week, I think it was the week before, whenever he was on before that.
Yeah,
Where his promo was like 45 minutes long. In a 2-hour show, his promo was 45 minutes long, and it was just like, even me, and like, I love him, but it was like that was at least 20 minutes too long. It just went on and on and like I can't remember a time years ago where you would ever get bored of hearing Rock cut a promo. That's the first time I've ever experienced boredom listening to, because it went so long.
Like I said, I think it's because we've seen it before, because we've heard him do this stuff before. It's great to see again, but it gets to a point where we've done this.
But it's been a long time since it. Like every other time he's come back, it's been a one-hit thing. His music hits, comes down, he grabs the mic, he's there for 5-10 minutes, and then he usually hits a fucking rock bottom, and then he walks out, and you don't see him again for another 2 years. So like this does feel different, because for the first time in 15 years, he is back as in a regular like capacity. So for me, I personally don't think it's boredom. I don't think it's a case of, well, we've kind of heard it before. I think it's something else, mate. Either it's a bit of rust. To be honest, my feeling, it isn't rust. It feels to me like Rock's doing the same kind of thing that he did 15 years ago, and it was new and different back then. And I think now that way of, it's like not so much Rock, but especially Cena. Cena's a great talker on the mic. We all know that. But over the last 12 months when he has appeared, I'm like, John, you're boring me, and it feels corny.
Because he's done it before, and they're slipping into that old routine, which they know it's a safe place, so they know what to do. But for us as an audience, we're like, we've seen this, we've heard this. Didn't he do this promo before, sort of thing? But like I said, I think it's a bit of a mixture of two. One, because we've lived through that and we've done all that. But like I said, if you're a new wrestling fan, say, or only been into wrestling for the last 10 years or so, this is what The Rock was like, But we've all seen it, we all grew up with The Rock. So we see all this sort of stuff. We saw the stuff he used to come out and say. But yeah, like you're saying, I think it's a little bit of, oh God, Rock's back on form. And then it gets to a point where it's like, we've done this. Come on, let's move on a little bit. Do something a little bit different. But yeah, I I don't want to get too bored of it. And like you're saying, with going back to like, is he going to screw over Roman? I generally think he is, just because they're like, it's like you're saying, are they making it a bit too obvious now? I believe they are. I mean, but we're maybe looking into it a bit too much. I don't know.
No, there's just too many things there. There's just too many. It's like to this point, it's like you're seeing 4 or 5 things of like little signs of it being so obvious. I don't think we are reading too much into it. I think they're just sloppily making it far too obvious.
I think they're trying to also. I think they're trying to like refine The Rock as well. Because if you notice, the last 3 times he's come out to a different entrance video.
Yeah.
An entrance package. So the first one he come out, it was the Bravo Ball. Then the second entrance, he came up with the Bravo Ball, but it was all in red, and it had red eyes. And last week, or the Friday just gone, it was the Lightning.
Yeah.
So I was like, why is he getting a different video package every time he goes out? I don't know what they're. It's almost like they're trying to tweak it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but I tell you what, I do know what our next talking point has to be.
Go on in.
The absolute vitriol and bullshit all over social media because Tamina, Naomi, and Bayley was at Sasha Banks' AEW debut. Fire them, get rid of them. If I was Triple H, I'd be taking Bayley's WrestleMania moment off her. fucking grow up. Like,
Yeah,
these are human beings
yeah.
who have friends that work for different companies who are just supporting each other. And it's like okay, they've posted videos on the social media of them dancing backstage and stuff, and there's been photos of them taken in the crowd and stuff. And you know what I mean? So it has, but you're telling me that Rhea Ripley and Buddy Murphy are engaged. Are you telling me that they're not backstage at each other's shows? Of course they are.
Well, they were at the UFC show together. They were team together. So
look, there is fan taken videos of Buddy arriving backstage at WWE events. I mean, he was sat next to her last year at the Hall of Fame induction.
yeah,
That's on WWE TV, and they've got an AEW wrestler sat front and center next to one of their main stars. Like, you've got CM Punk turning up, and he was backstage at Raw for like a couple of hours while he was under contract with AEW. At WrestleMania last year, you had Sean Spears sat front row next to Cody Rhodes' mum, wife, and daughter while he's under contract with AEW.
yeah.
And yet the camera's on him at their biggest show of the year at WrestleMania, and he's under contract with AEW. It's like this kind of, oh my God, she works for WWE and she's on camera at AEW. Saka, grow up.
Yeah, it's bollocks. It's crap. Who cares? You know what I mean? They obviously had to hide they were there just in case cameras saw them because they're under contract with WWE. I get that, but it doesn't stop the fact that they can go and support their friends. So I find all that a bit bollocks, really. Just another pot, another ingredient in the stirring pot of everything else going on.
It's ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. Yeah. It's like I remember. And look, this was on both sides. I remember Man United fans having a problem with it, and Man City fans having a problem with it. Obviously, as you know, I'm a Man United fan.
Yeah.
But I like when Wayne Rooney was throughout pretty much his entire career at Man United, we knew who he went on his summer holidays with every year. In the summer holidays, he went away with Joe Hart and Joe Hart's wife and kids while Joe Hart was at Man City because they were best friends. So. It's not the only one I've got. Like, we had a goalkeeper called David De Gea. David De Gea's best friend was Sergio Aguero, and they would meet up and go out for meals and stuff.
It's just exactly no one cares. It's just another ingredient in that big pot that they all like stirring up over absolute bollocks, nothing. But yeah, it's nothing, is it? Really, I don't have a problem with it. But obviously some people do. I don't know why, but yeah. Actually, while we're on the subject of AEW, obviously we had
Mercedes Moné.
Yeah, she made her debut. There was a big fanfare about it. She wasn't advertised on the bill to come out, but I mean, you'd have to be blind in both eyes and ears and everything else. To not have known that she was turning up that day. I mean, it was like the best known secret ever. And everyone's saying that it's a turning point. It's a needle mover. She's going to do fantastic there. I hope she really does. Actually, I hope she does well there.
I do.
The problem I have is that we've been here with WWE, ex-WWE stars, big ones before. Yeah, Buddy Murphy. Alistair Black, Miro, you know, the list goes on. Where are all them? Keith Lee, where are all them now?
Yeah.
I just hope that they use her well, and she doesn't end up like the rest of them.
For me, the best, and this is a bold statement, given how much ex-WWE talent AEW signed, the obvious, if you say who's the best in-ring wrestler to go from WWE to AEW, most people would say Bryan Danielson. But for me, a very close second. And look, yes, I'm a massive fan of his, so I might be a bit biased. Don't know. Drop in the comments if you think I'm talking shit. Drop in the comments if you think I'm telling the truth. For me, one of the biggest stars that AEW signed, I was devastated when he left, was Adam Cole, baby. Now. Yeah. How long did it take him to feel like he was a main event star? 2 years?
Yeah.
It was there, 2 years before it, and let's face it, it was it was luck. It was pure luck. They wanted to get him in a rivalry with MJF.
Yeah.
And them two was really funny together. They had a lot of chemistry and they ended up becoming friends and they ended up pushing it where they were best friends in a tag team. And obviously Adam Cole turned on him. But my point is, that was pure luck. That wasn't planned. That was a let's put these two on TV. Holy shit, these two have a lot of comedy of chemistry together. This is really funny. The fans are going ape shit for this. Right, let's keep doing it. Then they did they mixed them, the tag team, that better than you, baby, and all that stuff. But that was just one of them where them two just worked on screen as a partnership. And Tony Khan went, yeah, I like this. It's funny. It's working. The fans are liking it. Let's keep going. And because them two are so talented, they ended up taking it to the main event of Wembley, where I was fortunate enough to be there. But like, my point is, Adam Cole is one of the best wrestlers you probably ever likely to see. He's an absolute freak in the ring. Yet it took him 2 years before he eventually, by luck, got a main event spot.
Yeah.
So we can't just kind of say, you know, that Banks is going to be a massive success in AEW, because I don't think AEW is geared up for any woman to be a Rhea Ripley for AEW. What Rhea Ripley is for WWE, it's not geared up for that, because AEW, unfortunately,
Charlotte, someone like that.
Tony Khan, unfortunately, is very much like, I want to recreate how the Attitude Era felt. Now, you look back at wrestling in the Attitude Era, the women were an afterthought. No one cared about them.
Yeah.
And that's the way, you know, it's like Paige. Paige obviously came back. You know, obviously she's now wrestling the real name of Saraya, but has she achieved what we all thought she would? No.
No, I think that's another thing as well. I think there was that big fanfare about her leaving WWE and then being able to wrestle. And then she did do a few matches that were, you know, I don't want to sound dissed or anything, but they were very, they weren't good. Let's just put it that way. They weren't good at all. She obviously wasn't a totally confident yet back in the ring after spending so much time away, especially with her neck and that. But like I said, everyone said, you know, it's a second chance, you know, let's see what she does. And to be fair, she hasn't done anything.
No, and look, my point is, yes, I agree that there's definite ring rust, lack of confidence. You know, maybe WWE were right, and you know they didn't feel that it was safe for her to wrestle. Maybe we are seeing signs of that on AEW, that when she is wrestling, she can't get anywhere near the level that she was at, you know, 10 years ago. But another thing is that I will say with 100% conviction, if she wouldn't have gone to AEW and WWE would have said, okay, we'll bring you back as a wrestler, and she would have returned in WWE, it would have been 10 times bigger than what it has been in AEW, because WWE is set up for women to succeed, and AEW, in my opinion, isn't, which is why I was absolutely stunned that Banks, Mercedes, whatever you want to call her, decided to go to AEW. When her best friends are actually in WWE, in Naomi and Bailey.
Yeah.
Well, and she's chose to go to the company.
Well, she did do a podcast very recently, and she said, "Oh, I'm not. You know, business ain't finished there. I've got to go back. I'll be going back." She actually said, "I will be going back."
Yeah, and AEW fans hated it, but.
So yeah, you know, she's gone away. There's a new report actually out today saying that the 3 stars that they just recently signed, WWE were obviously all interested in them, but one of the main factors was it was money, where AEW offered them more money than WWE. Now I don't care what anybody says, that you go where the money is. It don't matter.
Do you know what as well? Do you know what as well? I think the only bit that I would add to that is what I've read is it's considerably more money. It's not a little bit more money.
No,
it's considerably more money. It was the kind. So if, for easy math, you know, let's say,
I think he's trying to. But the thing is, when you look at AEW and he's buying these big stars, it sort of like goes back to football. He's sort of like he wants to be the Man City. But what he's ending up being is the Fulham of the wrestling world. You know what I mean? He's not doing all these players. He's buying all this money. He's all these players, and it's getting him no results.
No.
They're not moving the needle. They're not getting him more sales. They're not getting him more views on TV. They're not upping the sale numbers in people sitting at the shows. And you know what I mean? There has to be a point where you plough more money than you're actually getting back. But like I said, at the end of the day, I'm happy for her. I hope she does well there.
Yeah.
But yeah, even she said. But like I said, the only concern I have is that we've seen this trend before with where they've gone, oh look, we've just signed this, this free agent. It was big in WWE, and then nothing's happened. Like I said, Aleister Black, Miro. The list goes on. Keith Lee. You know what I mean? Sometimes they've worked. Like Swerve, he's done fantastic in AEW, better than WWE. Mox, yeah. So there is contrary to it, but there is the other side to it as well, where we've seen, where they've paid big money. We've seen that they can do stuff in AEW, but they're just not there, or they haven't been used, and it's a bit of a letdown. I just hope she doesn't fall into that category. I also hope she doesn't fall into that gap that Cargill left, which they've had, where they don't really know what to do with the titles, and they haven't got this big player like they did with Jade. And I just hope they don't go, oh, now we've got her, she can go where what Jade was doing, sort of thing. Because I think that would be wrong. But
yeah, the only thing that I'd say about that is what I think should help her is she is quite obviously and considerably come into a company where she knows she's the best female wrestler that they now have.
Yeah.
She knows she's coming to a company where, look, they've got talented people. I think Paige, it's still in there somewhere. I think, in time, she might get a
Storm, I think Tony Storm,
Ruby, Tony Storm.
Deanna Purrazzo as well, another good one.
They have got a lot of talented women, but you can't honestly say that any of them are better in-ring wrestlers than Mercedes, Sasha Banks, whatever you want to call her. Like, she is considerably the best. Like, in my opinion, she's probably the best female wrestler on the planet. I can't think of a woman who is better than her in the ring. She's unbelievable. It's like as good as Charlotte was. I think I know she's injured again now, but that 4 or 5 months that she did when she did come back before she got injured again, it was not the same Charlotte from 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. You look at someone like, who for many years people considered Asuka the best female wrestler in the world. To be honest, I think since the COVID era, from obviously Becky Lynch getting pregnant and handing her the title and the Money in the Bank briefcase, we haven't seen Asuka at her best since then.
I think they're doing, like, Asuka has fallen into that gap that Becky Lynch did, where she was on a high and then she lost the belts, and then they sort of went, what do we do with her now, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I think Asuka's fallen into that as well, where they sort of didn't know what to do with her, and then they went, oh, actually, we've got Damage Control over here. Why don't we sort of add her to it? And though she's tag team champion, even Kairi saying, they haven't really. They're the group that's been wrestling quite a lot, but I don't know. They wrestling every week, but there's not a lot of promo work or anything going into them. Since Bailey left, actually, there's been no promo work from Damage Control since Bailey left.
And like I said to you on last week's podcast, I don't really know what's been going on with Io either, because she's the champion, and yet she's behind everyone in Damage Control, where she should be at the forefront of it. She should be the face of it. And yes, you could argue that when Bailey were there, obviously she's going to do all the promos, but Io Sky should still. It's like you can't say because Io's Japanese and her English isn't the best and stuff. There's going to be people who don't understand her. When Bailey was there, she'll do all the promos. Now Bailey's left, it'll probably be Dakota Kai. But my point is, we spent 15 years of Brock Lesnar standing there just dancing on the spot while Paul Heyman spoke to him. But Brock Lesnar was the one who was front and center. Someone else spoke for him.
Yeah.
So you can't make the argument that
Well, not
because Bayley's the one that's speaking, that's why he was at the back. Well, no,
well.
if she's the women's
Yeah.
champion, she should be stood front and
Yeah.
centre.
I still don't get that as well, because they did that with Shinsuke, and Shinsuke Nakamura spoke Japanese, and we got the subtitles, and he's still done really good promos. So I don't buy that fact of, oh, you know, because she's Japanese, we have to. That's rubbish, because you can still do good promos. Nakamura done really good promos in Japanese, and still got over really well. But yeah, I want to get on to Monday night, because there was a lot that happened on Raw.
Yeah.
This week. Where do you want to start? Because obviously there was a load.
Probably the best place to start, in my opinion, is how it ended with that gauntlet match, I think.
Yeah.
Surprised?
A little.
I'm very surprised.
Because of the promos that Gable did and Zayn did, I still think that's gonna be a triple threat match.
I do. I do. Yeah, I do.
And it will either be Gable or Zayn will pin each other. That way, keeping Gunther strong and not losing.
Who would you give the Intercontinental title to? Because I'm in that really awkward position where I want Sammy to win and I want Chad Gable to win it. I want both of them to win it. So
I personally would have a triple threat match, and I would have Zayn pin
Gable.
Chad, and then them to have a program together.
Yeah.
Going forward. But yeah, I wasn't surprised by the two at the end. I
didn't know which way to go.
That gauntlet match was really, really good. Really good.
Yeah.
But I weren't surprised by the two that were left at the end.
No, I wasn't.
I was a little bit, like I said, I was a little bit surprised at Zayn over Chad Gable, but I still think that just because of what happened at the end, where they sort of shook hands, hugged, and that, it says to me that, hang on, Saint,
it were a bit awkward though. Do you not think it was a bit awkward? It felt like something was supposed to happen that didn't happen. Like Chad Gable's face was like, it was almost like either he was going to turn or he was expecting Sammy to turn. It was almost like he was expecting something to happen and then nothing happened. Like Gunther just came out and then it went off air. But like Gable's body language was like, something's going down here, and then nothing did.
Yeah, maybe that was just sort of, or maybe he's going to do something. Maybe
also, I think what not a lot of people realise is it doesn't happen an awful lot anymore. It used to happen a lot more years ago. I do understand that, but it does still happen on occasion where when the match starts, they don't know who the winner's going to be. It does still happen sometimes where they will basically, Vince used to do it all the time, but there'll still be occasions now where Triple H will say, I will let the ref know at the end of the match which one of you two is winning it, because what I'm going to do is when it's just you two at the end and you're fighting out, I'm going to hear who the crowd want more. Because both of you deserve it. I want both of you to have the opportunity to go and have a match against Gunther at WrestleMania. I don't know which one out of the two of you to give it to. So when you two are wrestling, I'm going to be listening to the crowd and I'm going to be listening to what the crowd want. And whoever I feel like the crowd are cheering louder for. So we'll do a couple of false finishes. We'll have Sammy hit his finisher. And we'll have Chad hit his finisher. And you'll both kick out of each other's finish. And I'll see which one the crowd pop more for.
Yeah.
That's who it does still happen. Yes, it doesn't happen as much anymore as it used to. But there is a chance that it was a scenario where they didn't know. And what we saw at the end was Chad absolutely devastated because he probably felt like it was going to be him.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I feel like for a lot of us, your head was saying Sammy and your heart was saying Chad. I think which one you go with.
I think Chad deserves it more because, like they said, he's never won a singles title in NXT or WWE. He's never won a singles title, and that single match there proved he deserves to be in the Intercontinental picture.
And his match
He might have been the smallest, but he's. I'll tell you what.
What a wrestler! But
Yeah.
have a look at his one-on-one match against Gunther a few months ago. It was unbelievable. It was absolutely.
I think a lot of people forget as well that he's an Olympic athlete as well.
Yeah, he's
so
very good.
Yeah, he was at London 2012. He
bronze
amateur wrestler.
Yeah, he won bronze.
Yeah, so I know at first I think they were like trying to groom him to be a Kurt Angle sort of thing, and then that went away. And I think now they're trying to do it again because he uses the ankle lock and stuff like that, and yeah, and the suplexes as well. And he just feels like for me, I would prefer him to win. Sammy's won the Intercontinental title a few times now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So I just feel that maybe it's the sort of thing where you go, let him have his day, sort of thing.
I have got another thing to kind of throw out there though.
Yeah.
I would rather Chad over Sammy. Now, it's difficult to say that because I'm a big Sami Zayn fan.
Yeah.
And I do think he does deserve something. I think he is underappreciated as a singles wrestler, and I don't know about you. I feel like recently he's found his groove again. He's found his mojo again. Like he's
great.
Back to,
the promos he's been doing have been brilliant as well because once again he's doing. They did this. I mean, we've watched wrestling such a long time. They did this with Jericho because his whole argument was he headlined WrestleMania last year, tag team match, one of the greatest tag team matches at WrestleMania. Headlined it, and this time he's only just got on the bill for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And they did this with Jericho years ago. So he went into, I think it was WrestleMania. What was it? Oh no, I think it was WrestleMania 18. He was the undisputed WWE champion. He lost obviously to Triple H, and then the following year. He wasn't even on any match at WrestleMania, and I think he done a promo. I think he come out and done a promo about it at the WrestleMania. But I think it's the same sort of thing with Sammy. He was there, and now he's not even in talking about it.
I do think he's had quite a lot of injuries. I think he's had stuff going on. But I think if you look at him wrestling, mate, even like 12 months ago, you can visibly see that he looks fitter, he's faster, he's like he's not done that rope thing. Do you know where he runs to the rope, his legs at the top rope and he springs back and lands it? He'd not done that for ages. And I think it's because I don't think he felt like he could physically do it. But I feel like he's got his in-ring confidence back. Probably from Triple H last year going, Sammy, your main event in night one of WrestleMania and you win the tag titles. I think that's given him a massive holy shit, like they see me as a top star. They see me as a WrestleMania main eventer. And I think that really did give him that inner belief and confidence back. And you've seen his in-ring performances get back to the level that they were when he was in NXT. I think he's a very underrated and very underappreciated wrestler. But my point is, if they do bring back Sheamus, that's where I will go. Give the belt to Sheamus. Because there is no way he can retire without being a Grand Slam champion, and that's the only belt. That's the only belt that he's never won. He's won King of the Ring. He's won Money in the Bank. He's main evented Manias. He's won every other belt. The only thing he's won everything. He's done everything you can possibly do. He's won a Royal Rumble. He's won an Elimination Chamber. Done everything. It's funny that you've won is Intercontinental.
It's funny that you've mentioned Sheamus actually because two things happened this week. So firstly, he put a tweet out saying, where anyone wants to see a 5-star banger, right? And then the other thing was he deleted his Twitter account.
Yeah.
So there's been speculation of him sort of going the other side. I still think he's going to come back. He's obviously injured at the moment, but I still think he's coming back. But like you said, I think he needs to win the Intercontinental belt so he can retire as a Grand Slam champion. He needs that, I think.
Yeah, 100%. There is no way that man can retire with that. Like his career deserves to be a Grand Slam champion. Absolutely, 100%. He has to win it. So if he's fit for Mania, then do it. And do you know what? Another thing as well, and I don't know whether it reeks of desperation. To me, it does a little bit.
Yeah.
There might be some truth in it. I don't know. If there's no truth in it, I think he's going to get himself into trouble. But I did see this morning that Bronson Reed's called out Big E for a match at WrestleMania on Twitter.
Right. Okay.
And now, the reason why I think that reeks of desperation and why he's just done it without getting any permission for it is how big Big E is and how much the fans love him. I don't think WWE would have allowed him, if they'd have known, to put a tweet out calling Big E back, because that kind of ruins Big E's return.
Yeah. Well,
they were wanting to be a surprise.
I think he's done a few interviews and he says he's ready to go, but the doctors have said that if he damages his neck again, that'll be it. You know, he'll be paralysed. And he said he's 30 odd years old. He said he doesn't want to put himself into that position.
Yeah.
So he's thinking about options. Obviously, there's loads in our WWE he could do, and he knows that. So there's been a bit of a cloud over him returning to in-ring action. I'd like to see him back, but I think your health needs to come first, and I think that's what he's doing at the moment.
100%.
But yeah, if he came back and it was at WrestleMania, we have got a lot of stuff already for WrestleMania, but I looked at the card and I was like, okay, so there's like 8 matches already done there. But I was like, but there's 2 nights. This looks like one night already. And we've got 2 nights to fill. So it's going to be interesting in what other matches they're going to put forward. We've got another 3 weeks until Mania, so there's still a bit of time for them to do other matches. There's 2 more points, and then we'll wrap it up. Firstly, what did you think of the Maxine and Candice match on Raw? I want to say match because I don't know what happened in that match, but yeah.
I think it's one of them times where it's the opposite reason as to what you see on TV as to why. So, like, obviously, Candice LeRae saying to Maxine Dupree that, you know, about her brother being dead. It sounded awful. It sounded horrific. Now, the only thing for me is that Maxine's acting in that scene could have been a lot better, if I'm being honest. It was very Scooby-Doo-like. It was she's very inexperienced, and I'm not the sort of person who's gonna go online and say you're shit. I would say that she's learning.
Yeah.
You know, and you know she's learning on the job. But the thing is, when this has obviously come about because she went to a WWE event and everyone booed her and started, you can't wrestle, and calling her shit and giving her a lot of abuse. So WWE have obviously gone, we want to get the fans on her side. So they've obviously decided to get Candice to say something utterly horrific where everyone is going to get hit in the feels and there's going to be fans watching that who have lost their brother, who are going to be really emotionally touched by it because they've been in that situation, and automatically they're then going to be behind Maxine because someone said something horrific to someone is bullying her live on air. It's like they've been doing this for decades and decades and decades.
They've done this so many times, and obviously there was a lot of criticism about it. But I think it was firstly, I think it's a work. I don't think WWE insensitive enough just for her to say you can say what you want. I think that they would have said, she would have said, look, if you've watched Candice backstage and stuff like that, you would have known that she would have gone up to Maxine and said, I'm going to say this, you know, and Maxine would have gone, okay. Because like you said, the acting from Maxine was a little bit Scooby-Doo. So it was obviously a work. And like you said, that we've seen it many times before. They're trying to get her over. And you want the crowd to feel a bit sympathetic to her. So we do that. But it's interesting because a lot of people criticised it, yet no one seems to criticise it with Christian.
Yeah, Christian does it.
Right? And so I've said this many times before, and it's the same with Nia Jax. Lots of people hated Nia Jax. She can't do this. She can't wrestle. And I was thinking, well, there are some men wrestlers that wrestle worse than she does, but they don't get any stick. I'm just wondering whether it's because she's a woman and she does it. I don't want to get down that route, but it comes out like that, especially with this Candice thing. Everyone's going nuts about it. Oh my God, her brother tragically died in a car accident. You can't say. And I was like, it's a work. You can clearly see it was a work.
It's not. Do you know what? It's not even that. If you've watched NXT, or you like, if you look at both Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae's social media, they put a lot out of them two interacting, not on WWE, whether at home, whether at Disneyland, whatever it be. Like Johnny Gargano and Candice are probably two of the nicest people you would ever meet. Like. I guarantee Candice would have probably been. I don't want to say that. That's really mean.
I guarantee.
I don't want to say this.
I guarantee they would have gone back through that curtain and she would have hugged her.
Yes, yeah.
Then you're right. Yeah, they would have.
And what does kind of thingy it make it look a little bit kind of, stupid. Really, is when the incident happened when Maxine was at that main event show. And she was getting booed and a lot of abuse off the fans. Candice was one of the first women who went on Twitter and was like sticking up for her.
Yeah,
like,
so was Rhea Ripley as well.
Yeah, but there were loads. There were Becky Lynch, but Candice was the first one that I seen. Yeah. Candice was the first tweet that I seen where she was basically saying anyone who's going to a wrestling event to hurl abuse at wrestlers is an absolute joke. And Maxine knows how much we all love her, and how much we.
Yeah. Like really nice. So like you were saying, the quickest way we've been here before many times. Quickest way to get someone over is to make the crowd feel sorry for them.
They did it with Charlotte.
They're on their point.
They did it with Charlotte, mate. Charlotte was a heel for that long that when they tried turning her babyface, it just weren't working because she'd been a heel for that long and she'd said that much shit basically to the fans and stuff. And I'm Ric Flair's daughter. I can do what I want. I'm the queen. Woo! And all that. She was so arrogant, and her character was that arrogant that when they tried turning her babyface, everyone was like, "Nah, don't like her," and everyone had that in their head. So what did they do? They got someone to go out there and talk about her brother who died.
Yeah.
To make everyone go, "Oh my God, I feel sorry for her now."
Yeah. It's the oldest trick in the book.
They've done it a million times. They've done it a million times.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a bit. I think they're turning Candice heel. That was what I got from that because Indy was a bit like, and she was like, pin her now.
Yeah.
And it just looked like that. She's like, yeah, okay. So they're sort of turning her as well, which is good. The last point I want to get on, is the 8-team ladder match at WrestleMania.
Are the Hardy Boys returning again? I'm joking.
No,
I'm joking. I'm joking. Do you know what? The Hardy Boys are like my childhood. Like my favorite memories are the first ever TLC match, Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys, the Hardy Boys, like especially Jeff, all the crazy shit he used to do. I really hope for them that they both retire because every time I watch them wrestle on AEW, I think it's sad. It's sad. It's so sad. And like
I saw a match recently. Actually, it's all these great people that we used to see, and they're sort of deteriorate. I saw a match recently where Jericho teamed with Big Show on the cruise.
I'm not seeing it.
And there was a clip of the Big Show going to the ring.
Horrific.
Man, he can't walk. He cannot walk near enough. And I'm like, gee, this is sad. This is like same with Jeff Hardy. You sort of seeing him throwing about and him sort of sloppily getting up. Man, no, this is no.
But do you know what's a bit of a weird feeling for us? And I think yes, we can get really deep into it, but if we're being realistic, the reason why Matt and Jeff are both absolutely fucked is because of what they've done over the years for us.
Yeah.
Their bodies are now absolutely destroyed because of the shit they've done over 25 years to entertain us. Yeah. And now, as a fan, and because of someone who appreciates what they've put the bodies through for us, I want to go, please, just hang it up. Because it's painful to watch them clearly in so much pain,
Yeah.
can barely walk through years of abuse that they put the bodies through to
100%.
entertain us. I almost want to say you've done enough. You've done your
Yeah.
job.
Yeah,
You've
put it
entertained
up.
us for over 2
Yeah.
decades.
You don't need to.
Enjoy your
It's
retirement.
almost like you don't need to prove anything anymore. You've done
No.
that. Go away.
Just like be there for your kids.
But yeah, I mean, going back to the ladder match, I mean, you said before, I said it as well. The ladder match needs to return to WrestleMania,
and it is,
and it's brilliant as well. We're going to have a tag team one. But my wife said this, which was quite an interesting thing actually. She goes, "What's the betting that 2 teams are going to be pulling the belts, and one team will get the blue one, and one team will get the red, and split them up?"
Yeah,
she goes, "We'll have two new tag team champions that night."
I agree with that.
I said to my wife, "Well, actually, yeah." She goes, "I guarantee there'll be 2 ladders up. They'll be fighting. One of them will grab the blue one. One of them will grab the red one." She goes, "There'll either be a comedy moment where they look at each other and go, look up, look at each other, and pull it down." And wife also said, "I bet you one of them will be the Miz and R-Truth, and they will be."
So.
And what will happen is R-Truth will pull it down and then hand the other belt over to the other team, which will be DIY.
Yeah.
And they'll split the belts up.
Hopefully.
But yeah, she did say, she goes, "What's the betting that they do this match and 2 teams pull the belts and we get them split up?" And this is where they.
I'm looking forward to R-Truth, thinking that it's a Royal Rumble match and throwing everyone over the top rope.
Oh, he done that. He done that at the Royal Rumble, didn't he? Come out, he got a ladder, got up and was like looking up, like. Oh, I think it was Kane that threw him out. Then
he's superb. He is superb.
Oh, it's like don't chat. The thing is, as well, he's in his 50s.
Yeah, he's 50.
Well, and he's still got the moves. The thing is, when you watch him, he's still got it. Yeah, it's like, man, he's comedy gold. It's like, whatever you do, protect this man. Protect this man.
Exactly.
Keep him,
and that's exactly what I was saying last week about Pat McAfee as well. Like, when you go someone like that, you because he's just the most fortunate wrestling fan in the world, where he's in a position where, and he's so authentic, and that's why we all love him, because he's doing things that we would be doing.
Yeah, like we chop our own arms off to do, basically.
Yeah, he's just the most fortunate fan in the world, where he's been.
He even says it. He says it on the mic. He said, "I'm so fortunate to be here." And I think he's in the WWE game, and he said this week on the commentary, he goes, "We're in the WWE game." He goes, "We took spots from no one." He goes, "I am over the moon supportive, absolutely appreciated to be actually included in the WWE game." And but yeah, he's like I say, he's in that position where he's like, and it's I hope he doesn't leave like he did before. I hope that's it now. It's him and Cole all the way.
Yeah, he brings something that WWE desperately needs.
It's the energy last time, because I remember he used to do it most, but when it was Rick Boosh coming out, he used to get up on this thing, do the Rick Boosh. Now he gets up and does
the Jay Uso thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I just want to bring up quickly as well. They've just announced, obviously, the brothers are going to fight each other at WrestleMania. We sort of saw this coming.
Yeah.
I think back a couple of years ago, I think it was, when they split them up originally. They said backstage, I think they said a few interviews, and they said, "What's your dream match?" And he said, "My dream match would be to face my brother at WrestleMania."
Yeah.
And then we thought it was going to happen last WrestleMania, and it happened this.
I'd be very surprised if Jay doesn't win that match.
Yeah. Oh, mate, he is so over.
Yeah. He's almost scary how over he is.
Yeah, he's so over, and yeah, I wouldn't. It wouldn't be surprised if they put the Intercontinental title or US title at some point.
Yeah,
he's so over. It's unreal.
Yeah, I seen a thing as well where it was interesting, and obviously very quickly we are going to have to go in a minute. But the last point is, there's a big thing that's come out about Roman Reigns has only defended the title 54 times, and Hulk Hogan in only 3 months longer defended hundreds of times.
People keep bringing this up, mate. It's a different era. It was a different time.
See, here's the
Different
thing,
style of
right?
wrestling, everything.
But I don't. If you have your head screwed on, I don't think you can be just completely one way or completely the other way. Should he have defended the title more than he has done? 100%,
Yeah.
he should have. But in today's era, he's not going to be defending the fucker 500 times like Hogan did because, like, A, he's got leukemia. B, is in a position where, and he's the sort of character where it's like, I'm box office and I'm main event, and you're only going to see me defend my title at big pay-per-views. You know, whereas a lot of Hogan's defenses were at non-televised events. Because
It's interesting as well because I always think if you picked 80s Hogan, you took him out 80s Hulk Hogan when he was fucking big, and you dropped him in today's ring, mate. He wouldn't survive. It's more telling on the body now than it used to be back then.
It's also more technical.
It's more technical. It's more faster. It was a lot slower back then. And I don't think he would have coped, even if you got him at his prime. You took him out of time in his prime and stuck him in the ring now. I don't think he would have survived.
No.
You know, a lot of people like him because that's who they grew up with, and it's the same with him. If you grow up with a certain star, you just automatically are drawn to him. You know, Stone Cold, The Rock. You know, but I don't think even now, I don't think Stone Cold would be able to, if you picked him up at his prime. You know, I don't know if he would be able to cope. It's a far, like you say, it's more technical. It's a faster pace.
The only thing I would say about Stone Cold is the connection he had with the fans.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people. You know, you've got Rock, Austin, who had that unique connection with the crowd, and you've got to think back then. You know, you were pulling in viewers of like 6-7 million on a Monday night. You know, but the connection he had with the thing, because I think it was the era. You got to think about the era as well. It's all about up yours to the boss, and he just clicked.
Yeah,
and he thought, you know, let's click, let's do this. And he was always, you know, he went 2 or 3 years, where it was just him and Vince backwards and forward, and people fucking loved it. It was the best thing about wrestling. You know, you tuned in on Monday just to see him stun our Vince.
Yeah,
and then,
because how many people around the world would love to punch their boss in the face?
Yeah, and it was the right time as well when it came out. It was at that right time. It was the lad era as well. It came out in '98. It started sort of around that time. It was the perfect time for the lad era, as it was called back then, where it was all like red beer, everything. Stone Cold represented that point in time perfectly, where it was up yours to the thingy. Everyone was pissed, everyone was drinking, and he just personified everything. And he was just connected with the crowd like no other. And The Rock did the same as well. And not only that, when they turned him heel, that was the biggest. I still think WrestleMania 17 is the best WrestleMania. You know, fight me for it. WrestleMania 17 is the best WrestleMania ever. Ever. I don't care about anything else. You watch WrestleMania 17, it's got everything. And it's the time when The Rock and Austin, when they turned him as well, when he sided with Vince. And I mean, if you'd been watching Austin for the last couple of years and that happened, that was like that. That was fucking like, what the hell? It was a huge thing. Something that they've never, and I've watched wrestling all these years, they've never been able to replicate, ever.
No.
Ever. And
no,
going back to the thing as well, you know, all this like, he's his own defending it a few times.
Do you know what moment I would put up there though? Maybe not as good as that, I agree, but a moment that always kind of makes me go, just in terms of like where there's a person of power, because obviously people go, when Seth turned on the Shield. I'm on about, you know, like you said, like someone siding or whatever, where there's, you know, an authority figure involved. For me, it was when I just remember being speechless for about half an hour after Triple H turned on Seth and handed Kevin Owens the Universal title.
Yeah.
It was like, what the fuck? Like, it was just one of them moments that is one of them rare moments, mate. Fucking no one saw that coming. Nobody. Yeah. If you can say, I called that, fuck off. No, you didn't. Talking out your ass. No one's seen that coming.
I think the good thing as well, when you go back to that era when I was talking about with Austin and that, it was pre-internet.
Yeah.
It was pre-Twitter, pre-Facebook.
Everything back then was obviously kept as kayfabe.
Yeah.
So
no one knew nothing. There was the internet was small, and it was forums, and you could only find these forums if you knew what you were looking for, but you knew nothing. And this is what I mean. And we've been talking about it for many years. I think the internet sort of destroys the little wonders of wrestling, sort of, especially with rumors and spoilers and everything else.
If you could completely get rid of that aspect of it,
yeah.
I'm not saying get rid of social media completely, because I think it does have its purposes for stuff. But I think if you could somehow just make it so it's illegal to tweet, to post rumors about wrestling, football, like it would make things so much like it was years ago. Because we're both big football fans, are you telling me that as soon as the season ends, you're not going to be checking your phone when the summer transfer is up and going, who are Arsenal signing? What's the rumours? But then, because it's rumours, you don't know whether it's true or not. And then when your team doesn't sign the player you wanted, you're pissed off because you've just spent 2 months getting your hopes up that your team's about to sign a player and it's like
the same with wrestling with.
And then
we've heard that.
Yeah, mate. All the rumours for weeks and weeks and weeks was that Okada was going to WWE.
Yeah,
for weeks that was all you read, and then obviously he didn't. He went to AEW. But like I said, for me, if you couldn't tweet rumours about wrestling, imagine how much better events like Royal Rumble would be, where you literally have no idea who's turning up or what's happening. You have no idea. It would be so much better.
Yeah,
like the thing is, if you're a fan and you've got friends that are fans, people go, yeah, well, just don't check any social media for the week before.
It's hard to do. Yeah,
especially if you use social media for work endeavors, like both of us have done at times in the past. And I use social media regularly for that thing. It's very difficult for me to completely avoid social media. But also, even if you did, I've got that many friends who are casual wrestling fans
who would say
that'll just send it me. So I'll just see that one of my friends has sent me a photo. I open it and it's a screenshot of something that they've read on Twitter, and I'm like, I don't want to fucking know. But it's impossible to avoid. It's got to the point now where it's almost impossible to avoid it, unless you turn your phone off completely for the week before WrestleMania or Royal Rumble, which is just like in today's day and age, you can't do that.
No. But it like I was saying, it sort of is what it is in it. In the end of the day, it's sort of
what it is.
It would be best if that was. But look, we're going to wrap it up there because we've been on for a while now. Thanks everyone for joining us. Like, share, comment, all of that. But we're going to leave it there. I've been Kev.
I've been Dan. See you at the next one, guys.
And we'll see you at the next one, guys. Take it easy.